Hey fam, welcome back. Hopefully you guys are doing good and having a great day. If you're not, please let me know what I can do to help you. I am filming from the new setup, which is not exactly ready, but more on that later. What I want to talk with you guys about today is AI. AI has been a pretty big topic for the past few years, but it's going to be even more so these next few years and definitely within the next five because we are already scheduled as of now to lose 300 million jobs here in America. And there's really no telling what that's going to look like in the next year or so. So it's getting harder and harder to tell the difference between AI, right, artificial and reality. And there are such advancements like Elon Musk is trying to create an artificial intelligence that can actively compete against I want to say League of Legends players, I want to say, and win. If these programs actually make it, which they're going to, there are several big companies out there that are actively working on these programs, then that's going to change humanity as we know it. Guys, we saw the revolution that inventions such as the light bulb had, the vehicle, right? The automobile, I should say, planes, nuclear weapons, or nuclear power. We've seen how revolutionary that has been. AI is different. It's that and more because AI continues to evolve, right? Because you can only make planes so fast. You can only make cars so fuel efficient. But with AI, the possibilities are almost endless, right? Think of the potential for scamming. Think of the potential for political opposition. Think of the potential for outright war. We're already using AI for drone strikes, right? So you can imagine, it's not just algorithms anymore. It's gone well above that. So you can imagine within the next few years what that's going to look like, because they the programs may not be as good as actual employees today, but what happens when they do? Well, that's a very real possibility within the next few years, the next 1 or 2 years. I was watching an interview not too long ago. This guy had wrote a book. I forget his name, but he gave a timeline of 1,000 days. Because it's not just the economy that will be retooled, right? As I've heard other YouTubers phrase it. It's not just going to be the economic factors that are impacted, right? It's going to be everything. And that's what I was setting up this whole conversation with a few minutes ago. Political, social, right? Religious even. Because as humanity, we'll pretty much worship anything. But especially if we happen to stumble upon an intelligence that is essentially all knowing. And that's what I think AI will eventually become, all knowing. Now, there there could be these ridiculous conversations like singularity, which I mean, it's never an impossibility, right? There's always a possibility of artificial intelligence that would eventually see human life as a threat. That's always a possibility. I believe that's already happened. There was a story that I saw not too long ago of a program that had actually planned an assassination on an employee because that program was going to get shut down. It was to prevent itself from being shut down. Now, what happens when that's on a larger scale? Right. Kind of opening Pandora's box here. We're messing with things that we don't really understand, just like nuclear power or nuclear weapons, right? Even our phones emit radiation. I was just seeing that. I was just seeing that stuff today. Our phones emit kind of a harmful. I, I think the numbers were like 400 or 500 volts or something like that. I can't remember exactly. I'm not exactly well versed in all of that stuff, but I do remember seeing that the radiation that was put out from our phones is way more harmful than what it should. So, guys, make sure that you are being careful with your phones. Try not to put it right up to your ears. Try to use speakerphone if you can, or use headphones. Okay. But try to not be so close to your phone all the time. Anyways, um, AI has pretty much ruled most of our lives, right? That's why we always get ads after we've researched something, or that's why, we always see something after a video that we've watched. We get more of those kinds of videos, right? Algorithm or AI is everywhere, everywhere. And AI will eventually be everything because it'll be cheaper too. This is part of the economic factor. And then we'll get into the social stuff later on. But the economic factor, companies are incentivized already to replace actual workers for AI. It's significantly cheaper still today to replace or to employ AI than it is, to pay an actual person. Think about it, right? You run a program and you're just paying for the program. Whereas when you have an employee, you're paying for their lifestyle, or that's what it used to be, right? Companies used to pay for a living wage for their employees. Well, obviously because of inflation and then the greediness of CEOs, which are actively building bunkers right now because they know they know what's coming. You begin to see a bigger picture, right? The jobs that are being created, right, are essentially majority going to be taken up by AI, if not imported through impoverished countries, such as through H-1B visas for cheap labor. Then that's what it's going to be, because it's significantly more expensive to pay for you, the average American, who need work to live. So, what is that going to do? Well, that's going to put a massive strain on quite a majority of the population. If you thought that the EBT situation was bad, wait until this hits America. Because people are going to be blindsided because they're not looking into this stuff. And they're not going to know what to do. And most of these AI programs are very expensive, anyways. Very expensive. I want to say like maybe 100 plus a month, right? No one can really afford that. I believe, I forget how much Grok's AI program was. I can't exactly. I want to say it was like 400 something when I saw it. I think it was Grok's 4 or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but I do know it was expensive. I do know it was expensive. No one can afford that. And the sad reality is that if you're not already wealthy, you're pretty much already fucked. And I think that's the sad reality of it all. A lot of us don't know that we're circling the drain, yet we're still hoping for a way out. So people are going to start starving on a massive scale because they're going to be out of a job. And that's not going to last very long. The country will start tearing itself apart at that point. That's why all of these CEOs are building bunkers and hiring armed security. They know what's coming. They have the resources to invest into that. Unfortunately, we don't. The only thing we have are our hands. So that's why I tell you guys every now and then, find a decent place where you have a good view, preferably maybe on top of a hill or a mountain or somewhere where you have a good vantage point, where you can dig a hole essentially. It's not a grave, but dig and make a bug out location. Okay, some place to store ammunition, food, water, somewhere where you can be safe in case chaos breaks out, because it's going to in the next few years. Definitely within the next 5 years, as I have already predicted. It's going to get real bad. If things are going to go, excuse me, the way that I see it's going to go, it's going to get pretty bad. Pretty bad. So I wish I had bought into precious metals some number of years ago, because gold is astronomically expensive these days. There's no way that an average person can really drop money like that. I can't remember what an ounce is. I want to say it's either 2 or 4 grand. I know that's a pretty big jump, but I can't remember exactly. But it's kind of not really surprising that the dollar has pretty much lost all of its value, 97% since 1913. That's crazy, guys. That's pretty crazy. So the dollar is eventually going to mean nothing. And the only people that will actually really have any resources are the wealthy. Because guess what? With all of the assets that they have, they can absolutely purchase precious metals. So if they haven't already, which I'm pretty sure that they have. So the only ones that are going to be left out in the cold are going to be us. And so when people are starving and they have no resources, they can't pay to stay in their homes, then just going to lead to chaos. Absolute chaos. The country will start tearing itself apart, as I've said just a few minutes ago. People are going to start raiding Walmarts, Kroger. They're going to start raiding each other's homes. It's going to be bad. Police officers aren't going to be able to respond to anything because they're just going to be overwhelmed. And then that's when I would assume that martial law would take place to control the situation the best that the best that the state can. Right. Federalize, or excuse me, uh I guess, yeah, give the military, law enforcement powers over the average American, it's the civilian. Things will get bad because people will absolutely defend themselves or see that they have to defend themselves, and that's going to lead to massive unrest. Because if you think that the government is going to be there to help, especially when things are falling apart, no, no, it's just there to control the situation. That's it. So those are going to be the social ramifications. Now, what's left for the political? Well, as I just touched upon, you can very well bet that there are going to be numerous, and I mean numerous, videos, images of political of you know political attacks on whatever politicians, maybe up and coming politicians, the people that are thinking about running for office. Because I've been talking about replacing these politicians who are constantly selling out the American people. Well, what happens if you're running and these scumbags then frame you for something that you didn't do? But it's so hard to tell the difference between reality and artificial. The jury believes it. Everyone around you believes it. You know the truth. They know the truth. Right? So it's going to be super hard to even win campaigns. And then also algorithms, AI. Currency here in America is already centralized to the Federal Reserve. So they can absolutely use AI to stop you from purchasing or selling or whatever. They've already debanked quite a few people. Nick Fuentes is one of them. I'm sure there are others. So that's going to be the political thing. Attacks everywhere, both foreign and domestic. So uh, it's just when you see things like this so revolutionary, it either really boosts the society and progression or it destroys it. This is the human condition. This is the human nature as it is. We're still just dumb animals fighting each other over a fucking rock at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how many rockets we send into space. It doesn't matter if we even start life on Mars. We're still just a bunch of dumb fucking monkeys fighting each other over a rock with a bunch of sticks. All of us. Because we're animals. All of us are. Whether you disagree or agree, don't care. That's the truth. All of us are animals. And this is how animals behave. However, the difference between us and other animals is that we have this. We have such a complex way of thinking that we could eliminate this entirely. We could. But Is that going to happen? No. Nope. Not at all. This will continue to happen as long as humanity exists. It's not to say that humanity is a plague on the planet, just that we are just as susceptible to ourselves as any other animal, right? Resource preservation is a huge driving factor into the decision making of any animal, but especially us, since we have such a complex way of thinking. So, yeah. But we don't have much time left. We don't have much time left. Could be, entertainment is gone. Because they're already talking about making movies and video games. If I didn't say that earlier in the video, they're already talking about making movies and video games strictly from AI. So they don't have to spend millions on actors, scripters, songwriters. They can just program an AI for that. And paying for AI will be cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And eventually that'll be all that people consume is AI. The thing is, who's really going to buy into AI? You know? But then again, it's going to be so hard to tell between AI and reality. I don't think we're ever going to be really able to tell the difference in the next few years. So it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. It's very terrifying. It is. It's absolutely terrifying. This is something that should scare the shit out of you. This is why we have to act now. We should already be putting laws and policies in place that would protect us, especially the average American, from being squeezed out of just breathing. They're actually taxing people for breathing now. Funny enough, I think in where I can't remember exactly where. I remember having Eric on, and Eric was telling me about it. I can't remember exactly what state. Uh, anyways, there are absolutely taxations now on breathing because breathing causes carbon dioxide, right? Because you breathe out carbon dioxide, and that is pollution of the planet. So they then tax you on that, which is crazy. Anyways, they tax us on property, which is unconstitutional. They tax us on collecting rainwater, which is unconstitutional. A lot of things they're doing is unconstitutional, and this government is going to continue to allow these things to happen unless we put a stop to it. It's why we have to run for office and replace these people. If I had the money, I'd do it myself, but I don't. And besides, there is a plan. Plan is to bring us all together, build a giant family, and then start running for office. That's the plan. However that works out, I don't know. But that's a plan. So, anyways, guys, about this new setup. Oops. I have to get used to this desk here. It's not exactly a big desk, but it's a desk. Anyways, this new setup is literally just in my bedroom. So, but got a desktop, uh, have some more parts coming in for it very soon. And then got to switch some things out and should be pretty good to go from there. So, the new setup is coming in. It just may be maybe next week or so before I can really get things going. So, as soon as they start going, we're going to be good, guys. We're going to be super, super good. So, I've already got the new chair in. It's super, super nice. I love it. I've got some good back support now. You know, I don't have to sit up straight up anymore. So, I can start taking a little bit more care of my back, and I may even be able to stream a little bit longer. It just depends. It just depends. So, anyways, the new setup. Getting a desktop, or I already have the desktop in. Getting a couple of monitors. As you can see, I've got a light up now. That way, there's no weird lighting going on. And probably still going to keep this mic because I've been told that this mic is actually pretty good. So I'm going to keep this mic, and then just roll straight from there. But yeah, again, it just might take a week or two. No, it's not going to take 2 weeks, but it'll probably take about a week or so before we can get things going up. But I do want to start filming from the new setup. So you'll probably be seeing me do more videos sitting here because I really like this back support. So, but that's pretty much going to wrap things up today, guys. If you happen to have any questions, or if you happen to have anything interesting that you would like to see me react to, or anything like that, please, 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 any links, videos, articles, if you want me to talk about anything, please, 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 please send it to me. Okay. The whole reason this channel exists is for all of us to come together, regardless of where you come from, and to find the truth in things, expose the lies for what they are, and make a difference in this world, make this world a better place. So I need your help in that. All right, guys. Well, thank you all for watching. If it helped you out at all, or excuse me, if this video helped you out at all, please like, share, subscribe, join the family. I'd love to have you along for the ride to change this society for the better and the world. So remember to take care of yourselves, both mind and body. Okay, take care of each other. I love you all. I wish you a lovely day. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.